Hello, and welcome to So You Think You Can Rule Persia, the podcast where we rate and review all the rulers of Persia from Diocles to Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. I am Sariel, and my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Umberto, and my pronouns are he, him. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 104, Al-Walid II.
Woo! We did it.
Yes. I said this already last episode, but I was very excited for Al-Walid II because, whenever people were asking me, oh, you're doing a second season, what's something cool that's going to happen? Al-Walid II is generally the story I would tell them and be like, yes, these are the anecdotes that I want to tell because it's fun.
Right. I am actually, I forgot that you mentioned last episode that you were very excited about this, and now I'm here with renewed excitement. Because,
nice.
It means things will happen. I don't know what things, but I guess we'll find out.
Exciting things will happen, perhaps. Because, exactly, Sarah. To recap what has happened in the last few years, just to get everybody up to speed, since it's been a while since we recorded. Essentially, the empire has reached the height of its power. It's expanded from the Atlantic to China, and it's the largest empire the world has ever seen. And it's doing great. But we have this fundamental underlying problem that non-Arab Muslims are treated as lesser than Arab Muslims. Essentially, the problem is that a lot of these people are saying, well, wasn't the point of all this that we're now equal in this new religion and we should all be equally respected?
Right.
And the people in government are saying, shut up, that's not how this works.
No, wait. We just wanted to make a new order of privileges. This is never about, making everyone equal. You misunderstand.
Yes, exactly. But this is sort of making people unhappy, and there is... people attempting reform, like Umar II, who is known by the sources as the only good Umayyad because he tried to change things and he tried to, make the principles match reality. And Umar II tried to make some reforms, but it lasted very little, and his successor, Yazid II, essentially reversed everything. And then we get to last episode, which was Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik, who essentially witnessed the empire burst into flames.
Oh, fun.
Because in the east, Khorasan was being invaded by Turks, and then it was rebelling, and it was a whole thing to suppress the rebellions. In the middle, there's Roman pirates attacking Syria. It's a whole thing. And in the west, we had the Great Amazigh Revolt, which means that Morocco and Algeria have fallen out of the empire. And now Al-Andalus is sort of floating on its own, half connected to us. So it's a bit difficult to deal with. Ultimately, we decided that Hisham was trying his best, but he wasn't radical enough to make the structural changes needed for the empire to improve, essentially. The important thing is that as long as he has a good heir who can handle all of this chaos, the empire will be fine.
Yeah.
The problem is that Hisham really didn't want Al-Walid II, today's protagonist, to succeed. Because he was a drunken party boy and said, well, no, he's never going to amount to anything. He can't be in charge. And so he tried until his last breath to get Al-Walid out of the succession, but ultimately Al-Walid was not willing to renounce his privileges, and thus he succeeded. So we'll see how it goes. Do you have high hopes, Ariel?
Well, I mean, you've sold this episode as pretty interesting, so yes. We are starting from not a terrible point in history.
It's a bit shaky, but it's...
Yeah, it's been, we've been talking about how we've been trying to consolidate. The empire hasn't expanded as much, but also is a little bit unstable, but not the worst. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the instability has more to do with the succession and the family that's currently involved.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more extended now, who's in charge. Because, well, we mentioned this last time, but with Hisham's death, the first generation of caliphs is now finished. Yeah. So we're now dealing with second generation, where there's a bunch of cousins which have not exactly equal right to the
Yeah,
succession,
but
but
like
close
basically they could all claim it. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see then. My prediction is going to be that I think the instability will come from political intrigue, so maybe we'll get a lot of, behind the scenes, like espionage, scheminess, because it'll have to do more with who gets to succeed and who gets to be the next caliph and who is now the branch of the family that will have more power, instead of a lot of the instability coming from being attacked, for example, from like outside the empire.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
We'll
I mean,
see.
there currently aren't any enemies that are big
Exactly.
enough
Like
to
I think most of
destroy the empire,
Hmm.
but a combination of things could be risky, so who knows.
We'll see.
So, all right, let's get into Al-Walid II's life and see what he was like. Well, he was born as the son of Caliph Yazid II, which we weren't really fond of. He was kind of a waste of space.
Damn.
And he was born sometime between 698 and 706 as one of the many grandsons of Abd al-Malik. And on his mother's side, he was the grand nephew of Hajjaj, which was this great statesman in the east of the empire during Abd al-Malik's reign. In general, just to give you an expectation, this means that Al-Walid is going to be in his late 30s, early 40s by the time he gets to the throne, by the time he becomes caliph. And yeah, well, with his father as caliph, Yazid II decreed that Hisham would succeed first, and then Al-Walid would succeed second, because, well, at the time he was underage, so, well, it wouldn't have really worked very well, so... Hisham was essentially a stopgap until the line goes back to Yazid's family.
What you gonna do,
Initially, it looks like Hisham and Walid got on well enough, but Hisham grew to dislike Al-Walid and his dissolute lifestyle. Because you remember that Yazid also was very fond of enjoying life and spent plenty of time in desert palaces. Well, Al-Walid takes a lot from his father. He's learned this, he enjoys going to these lovely palaces, having a brilliant time and not really worrying about much in life. An embarrassing feature here is that Hisham's son Abu Shakir was a close friend of Yazid and joined in his rebels. So Hisham is trying to do the whole, I'm an upright caliph and I'm trying to make everything work and I'm trying to hold the empire together, and that his son and his heir are both just partying up a storm in these mystery palaces where nobody knows what's going on. At this point, Hisham was outraged with Al-Walid, so he said, do you even have a faith? Are you even a true Muslim if you do all this? To which Yazid replied with a poem.
Oh.
Which went like this. O you who ask about our faith, we are of Abu Shakir's faith. We drink it neat, we drink it mixed, we drink it warm or sometimes cool. While others pace around the holy shrine, we circumambulate a bin of wine. For God all true believers touch the floor, with equal faith the bottle we adore.
Interesting.
Which also works well as a football chant.
Yeah. Actually, that is the vibe. Yeah. Indeed, very much like there's one thing that unites all of us, and can you really blame us?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, your son is doing this, why are you blaming me?
Yeah.
Come on, Like, get your own house in order before
How is this my
preaching
problem?
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah. Things became so bad that eventually Hisham reduced Al-Walid's allowance and punished some of his court that he perceived as leading him astray by either imprisoning them or reducing their food. In response, Al-Walid left the caliphal court and established himself in his own separate palace in the Jordanian desert, which he himself designed, although he didn't actually manage to finish it properly. Although I do like how in this palace there's a lot of fun design elements, because there is a rebus for Al-Walid's name in a mosaic.
Oh.
Because in this mosaic there is a rounded fruit from which a stalk grows and a knife. And together this represents a newborn child, the stalk, amid its parents, the feminine fruit and the masculine knife. which results in the idea of a newborn child, which translated into Arabic comes as Al-Walid.
Oh.
So
Al-Walid
there's some fun
means
symbology in this palace,
newborn.
and it's nice that we have it.
Hmm.
This palace also has a seat for Al-Walid that parodied the old Sassanid kings, where there's a stone chain hanging from the ceiling with a final pendant carved out of a single block of stone, which we still conserve, and sort of just imitating the crown of the Khosrows back in the old days at Ctesiphon. So he's saying, well, I'm going to be caliph one day. He's doing the whole Simba thing of I just can't wait to be king.
Yep,
And
truly.
he's just saying, yep, I'm going to be the caliph. You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to live in my fantasy palace. And he also enjoyed baths. So he had a particular selection of baths in his palace, with a certain area dedicated to baths of wine where you could drink and relax at the same time. And I love that we still conserve these, and there's still like the wine stains, so you know that it's legit.
It's legit, yeah.
So, given that this man is meant to become the head of a faith that forbids the drinking of alcohol, this is slightly problematic.
Yeah.
So,
this
we'll
is
see how everybody deals
Augustus
with
and Julia levels of annoyance.
Yes, very much so. It's just a whole...
I am sorry, guys, that I am very Roman Empire pills. That was my first deep dive into ancient history. So
fair, as it is for most people, surely. So there we are.
We can still hate the Romans in this podcast. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We've been hating them for years. So we're just going to keep hating them until they finally disappear. Yes. But back to politics. Hisham tried to get Al-Walid to abdicate his place as heir.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know what? Come on, man.
He's trying to be reasonable about it and be like, just do it so I don't have to make you do it. Just,
Yeah. Because, again, we've been going in this system of the caliph names two successors. And so nobody's gone back on that yet. So you don't want to set a bad precedent because then the succession is all messed up. And what are we going to do? So he's trying to say, listen, you clearly don't want the responsibilities of being caliph. You just want to party and have a nice time. So I'll just give you money so you can do that and just give up your succession.
Yeah.
How's that? You don't want the job. You just want to say you're caliph.
Yeah.
So why don't you just get the money and accept it? But Al-Walid was saying, nope, it was my birthright. My father promised me that I should become caliph, so I'm going to become caliph. I'll learn to like the job, I'm sure. How hard can it possibly be? So at first, Hisham tried to get Al-Walid to give up willingly. And then he decided, you know what, I'll trick Al-Walid.
If he's not going to do it, then we'll make him do it. It's fine.
I'm going to just make it so public that he is unsuited for the role that he's just going to, out of embarrassment, give up. And say,
I don't know if that's going to work. Gotta say, I don't think that's how humans go about things, but okay.
Not especially. So in 734, when Al-Walid was late 20s, early 30s, he appointed him to lead the Hajj, this yearly pilgrimage to Mecca, thinking Al-Walid is going to mess this up, and when he messes that up so publicly, that'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
During this pilgrimage, he did cause scandal because he brought a bunch of wine with him on pilgrimage and a bunch of hunting dogs packed in crates, which were ritually unclean. And according to some sources, Al-Walid was so drunk throughout the pilgrimage that he needed a servant to help him complete his ritual requirements in Mecca. Because he was just constantly on the sauce and could not get sober enough to do anything.
Oof.
But as you would have guessed, Serial, the public outcry was not sufficient to push him away from the throne, and Al-Walid remained heir. And it was like, well, so what? I'm going to be caliph. God chose me.
Yeah.
Who are you to judge me?
Yeah, this is the issue with the divine right to rule. Whereas well, if God said that I should, then who are you to say that I shouldn't? And there's no room for discussion. Don't love that.
Yeah, exactly. That's an issue. And we see that he is becoming fully estranged from Hisham. This means that in all his early life, Al-Walid gets no training in how to rule. But for all of his adult life, he only has Hisham as an example, but he hates Hisham because he's kept trying to get him to abandon his succession. So there's really a terrible relationship between these two. Al-Walid is just stewing constantly and being unhappy. But in his desert palace, Al-Walid dedicated himself to the arts.
Ah.
in particular poetry, for which he had a particular talent. And he was known as one of the best poets of the time.
Actually?
Apparently so. And this also kind of reminds me a bit of Nero.
I was
where it's
gonna
like,
say.
Nero also loved poetry and fun and lovely times. But we don't have any Nero poems, but we have a bunch of Al-Walid ones, which are
Okay.
throughout this
So then we
episode
can't
because
judge.
they're good. Yeah, exactly. And he was also a skilled musician and would often set his poems to music and just play along and perform them in public.
He was
in
a
his courts and
singer-songwriter.
have a lovely time.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. He had the advantage of being an artist and his own patron, so he was free to follow whatever inspiration
rich
took him
artist.
despite external criticisms.
Wow. What a unicorn.
Exactly. And he describes his lifestyle with this poem. White hairs, what of them? Enemies, who cares? I've had my joys. Ripe girls like statues, slaves and mounts to hunt, and dizzy wine. No humble youths, my friends, but lordly proud in their nobility. Seeking revenge, they get it, but sought from them, they yield it not. So he's just having a lovely time with the bros.
Yeah.
His poetry is mainly dedicated to love, with 42% of poems being romantic poems, and wine, with 13% of them being wine poems.
Well, the love of wine, I guess, summarizes it.
Yeah, but he also attacked his uncle Hisham and had religious elements in poetry as well that he'd occasionally dabble.
You gotta let your frustrations out somehow.
You need to go for it, yeah. Another one of Al-Walid's pleasures was the hunt and riding, where he was quite adept at performing a bunch of different tricks.
Oh, cool.
So he does a lot of trick shots. He's very good at it. So in particular, he used to capture his prey, not kill it.
Oh.
And then he would brand it with his name.
Ooh.
And then just let it go. So much so, he captured animals and released them so often that he was just nicknamed the Vet.
The vet. Like the animal doctor?
Yes.
Oh.
Because he's just getting these animals, giving them a tattoo, and then sending them on their way.
It's
It's like, well, yep, there we go.
Interesting.
He also had a horse called Cindy that he had bought before Hisham had the chance to buy it himself, just
to
rub
spite
it
him.
in.
Yeah.
And Al-Walid would often make Cindy race Hisham's champion horse, and they would often end up one first and the other second. So there's this
Dang.
rivalry that's continuing. It's always like they're just head to head, and it's
This
just
poor horse
really wanting his
has
horse
nothing
to
to
win
do
this.
with it, but it's, in it now. I want a movie about the horses.
That'd be great, find out. Give it on. But we get some more problematic statements of his personality from other people.
Sure.
Where in one case his chamberlain interrupted a party for some important caliph meetings, and Al-Walid said, "Come on, join us for a drink. We don't have to have a meeting. It'll be great. Come on, just drink with us. It'll be fine." But the chamberlain was like, "No, but seriously, we kind of need to run the empire. Do you mind
Yeah.
stepping out for 10 minutes?" And at that point, Al-Walid forced him to drink wine with a pipe down his throat until he died.
No!
Or fell down deadly drunk, depending on the translation.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a bad time.
That's horrifying, actually.
Yeah.
He was just trying to do his job.
Yeah, the guy's just Al-Walid's not great.
Ugh.
But yeah, Al-Walid was also known to order the death of his friends while drunk, a bit like Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Only to be greatly grieved when he sobered up the next day and be like, "Oh man, I have such a terrible hangover. What did I do last night?" It's like, "Oh no. Oh no, I've killed people. That's bad."
Maybe we should not follow the orders when he's drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should just say, yes, we'll put them in the dungeon, whatever. They shall be executed at dawn, and then, wait until he sobers up.
That would be pretty good, but then you need to check in case Al-Walid punishes you for not following orders. Because that's a whole thing. I think there's a story in Herodotus of that sort of thing, where oh yeah, they just hid the person, and then the king was happy about it, but then said, "No, but I'm still going to execute you because you disobeyed."
God.
So, yeah. But in the more problematic areas,
Even more fun.
we're told that Al-Walid fell in love with his wife's sister, called Salma,
No.
which caused a great deal of arguments and
Yeah.
animosity between them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And to be with this Salma, Al-Walid divorced his wife, but when he asked his father-in-law for the hand of the other daughter,
Yeah.
he was refused on recommendation of the Caliph Hisham, who was married to another daughter of the same man. So Hisham was like, no, you know what Al-Walid's like, don't. She dodged a bullet there, just don't.
Wow. So now he gets neither of the daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
But Al-Walid was not dissuaded, Serial.
I am sure he
and
wasn't.
he disguised himself as an oil merchant to get to Salma's family home, where he was recognized and kicked out.
Yeah.
But he wrote poetry about his disappointment.
Yeah.
And he said, no wine twice tinged with musk, no honeyed milk, no purest water cooled, for me is more desired than nectar sucked from Salma's tongue. No, never in my life, by God shall I forget the bolted door with me shut out.
Well, was she into it? Like, was she in love with him?
Well, Walid then turned up drunk to Salma's father and asked how he could refuse this marriage if Al-Walid was going to be caliph. At which point, when he was rebuffed again, Al-Walid violently insulted the man, which caused Salma to burst into tears and insult Al-Walid.
Yeah.
At this point, this not working out, Al-Walid decided to pursue his ex-wife again, saying, well, I can't have Salma, but the sister will be good enough, I guess.
What a loser behavior.
Yeah. Although his ex-wife had remarried to someone else,
Yeah.
so when Al-Walid was refused again, he returned to his pursuit of Salma.
Oh my god. This is embarrassing. Gotta say.
Yeah. So Serial then, on the 6th of February, 743, Al-Walid became the most powerful man in the world.
Okay, woof. Dangerous.
Yes. Hisham died, and he received oaths of allegiance in Damascus, though he mainly stayed in the desert palaces where rumors spread of his wine drinking and debauchery.
I can't believe he made it after all these, after all this.
You can tell why Hisham was like, please, you don't want this job. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just please. Give it to someone else. Anyone, please.
Anybody? Anyone?
Yeah.
Hello?
And we're told that Al-Walid celebrated Hisham's death for 2 nights in the desert with wine and song, never stopping to proclaim his joy.
Damn.
And he even wrote a poem about the event.
Of course he did.
He said, how good was the day and how sweet the choice wine, when they said that the man in Rusafa was gone, and the post brought us news that Hisham was no more, and it brought us the seal that the caliph must wear. So we toasted to the morning with Anna drunk neat, and a girl made us merry with songs to her lute. So, hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yippee.
So how well do you think Walid is going to do, knowing him as a person now? Do you think he's just going to change his life and become a new man?
I mean, that would be great,
or do you think it's
but
going to be slightly less
something tells me he might
advantageous?
not. I mean, I'm still waiting to be surprised,
You never know. It could happen.
I don't mind a good surprise.
Well, when Al-Walid started his caliphate, he began with charitable works such as stipends for his supporters and slaves to help blind and disabled subjects, something that Al-Walid I had done. And might be an error in the sources confusing the Al-Walids, but who knows?
Maybe, yeah. That makes sense.
But the problems began when Al-Walid started strongly favoring the Qaisi faction and allowing them to persecute members of the Yamani faction, with certain former governors being tortured to death for their money, and the general leader of the Yamani being tortured to death.
Oh.
Although it looks like Al-Walid just disliked the guy.
I see.
I was like, you know what? Don't like you. Bad times.
Hmm.
Another controversial action that Al-Walid took was the arrest of several of his cousins, because, well, they all have equal claim to the succession, don't they? So,
yeah,
let's get them all away.
Yeah.
In particular, he deprived all of Hisham's sons of their properties, just as revenge against the old man. The only exception was his friend Abu Shakir, who he used to drink with back in the day.
I see. So he gets the pass.
Yeah, they were drinking buddies. They had a lovely time. But on the other hand, Al-Walid decided that his sons should inherit the caliphate, and he would not respect the principle of seniority. He's saying, let's not do this brother thing. What's the point? My sons are going to succeed. That's it. None of that stuff. The problem was that he had declared them as heirs despite both being underage. So, well, we've never had a child caliph. What happens in that case?
Yeah.
Is this a thing you can do? It's like having a child pope. Can you?
Is that allowed?
We don't know. And also, these sons were the sons of enslaved mothers, which had never happened before.
Yeah.
It was why his uncle Maslama ibn Abd al-Malik never took the caliphate despite being a very capable and skilled man.
Right.
So, sort of breaking a lot of traditions here. And how do you think he justified this? What do you think his justification was to the people asking him, why are you breaking all these traditions?
Out with the old, in with the new? I don't know.
Sort of. He mainly said that as caliph, he was the mouthpiece of God's will, and as
because
such,
I
he
say
should be
so.
utterly obeyed.
Yeah. Okay.
Because listen, God chose me as his representative on earth. Would it be wrong if I said it? Are you disagreeing with God? I don't think so.
I see.
But yeah, in general, it also looks like Al-Walid's resentment of his treatment by Hisham was part of this reason of having his son succeed. So he wanted to make sure that his sons wouldn't be treated like him and wouldn't be forced to leave the palace and be humiliated and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also an interesting view of the role of the caliph here, because originally caliphs had referred to themselves as caliph of the prophet of God, so they're successors of the prophet. But Al-Walid and some of his supporters have a different view, where the caliphs are not the inferior to prophets, but they're equals.
That's gonna cause some issues, if I know anything.
So they're in charge of ensuring God's will is done on earth. So they're no longer the representatives of the prophet on earth, they're the representatives of God directly on earth.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go so well.
Yeah. Another personal issue that he went back to was his desire for Salma, of course, this poor woman who cannot catch a break.
Yeah. This is like being chased by Apollo.
Yes, it's it's terrible. Yeah, Apollo or Dionysus or a combination. But yes, at this point it's a little bit unclear, but it looks like Al-Walid forced Salma to divorce her husband and celebrate the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But she had become sick while heading to the wedding and died only 40 days later.
Oh no. Damn.
So despite becoming caliph, despite finally marrying her, didn't get to enjoy the fruits of it because, well, she just died of disease beforehand.
Very sad.
On the occasion of her death, he composed these verses.
Rest in peace.
O Salma, you have been like a nourishing garden whose harvest is near and pending. The masters of the orchard, out of concern, slept there only lightly or not at all. Spring had already dispelled their worries when the autumn wind tore off these fruits and crushed them. So, bad times. Al-Walid is suffering despite his general vibes. Regarding rulership of the empire, Al-Walid fired the governor of Khorasan, who had done much to protect the region from rebellion and Turkic attacks, and returned the region to the more hands-off control of the governor of Iraq. And he had also several Arab settlers taken from Cyprus, returning them to the continent, with the hope that they would contribute to expeditions against the Romans. Because Cyprus had this weird thing where it was like giving taxes to the Romans and the caliphate. So he's saying, well, no, Arabs, they should come back to Syria so they can just attack the Romans and defend against pirates, because that's still a thing going on. Also, despite his general impiety, he did fulfill his basic roles as caliph by leading prayers with good decorum and ordering the execution of several Christian leaders that had insulted Islam.
I see.
So he's partially doing his job in a way. And Cyril, we get to this point because he definitely did remain impious. And as caliph, he enjoyed pranks and such.
No. Pranks from a caliph sound terrifying. No, thank
and I
you.
need to give you an anecdote that I originally excluded this anecdote because it's so rude.
Oh?
But I love it too much, and I decided to re-include it again because I was like, this is what I was telling everybody about, so they need to know. This is from a poet recounting an event at Al-Walid's court, and he says the following. One day, I went to Al-Walid, and when he saw me, he raised his skirt and revealed his weapon at full cock, like a painted ebony flute. Did you ever see the like of it? Said Al-Walid. Never, my master, said I. Then prostrate yourself, he said. So I performed 3 prostrations. What's all this? Said he. I only said once. No, master, said I. 1 for the scepter and 1 for each of the orbs.
This is so stupid. Why do we have this? This is so stupid. Oh, humans truly are just humans all along. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Inappropriate.
Hey. Aren't you happy that this man is in charge of the largest empire the world has yet seen?
Why, of course. Who else?
Yeah. Good times.
I'm so calm about it. Yeah.
Good times. But as time passed, Serial, Al-Walid began to fear for his position, worrying that other Umayyads could take it away from him. In particular, he flogged and exiled Suleiman ibn Hisham, who will come into the story later on. And when he was confronted about his behavior by several prominent Umayyads, he simply replied with a poem.
Of course.
As he often does. God and the holy angels hear me speak, and all the righteous worshippers of God. These are my heart's desire, a cup of wine, the sound of music, and a pretty cheek to bite. A noble friend to drink with me, a nimble serving man to fill my bowl, a man of wit to talk, an artful minx, with round young breasts and jeweled necklaces. So, bunch of people.
Yeah.
Disagreeing.
Yeah.
Bunch of people think, aren't you meant to be like the head of our religion, man? Are you like, you good?
Well, you
You're
see,
meant to rule the empire and be at the head of the religion. Is this cool?
well, you see, he's
feels
already in power. So, like, are you gonna tell him?
Yeah. So day by day, opposition to the caliph coalesced around many prominent Umayyads, and Yamanis specifically, who chose as their leader Yazid ibn al-Walid, cousin to the caliph, and also, amusingly, great-grandson of Yazdegerd III on his mother's side. Just a nice connection.
Wow.
Also, this is rather confusing just for when you're reading sources about it, because we have Yazid ibn al-Walid rebelling against al-Walid ibn Yazid, but you know what? We'll keep it straight. We'll just say Yazid and al-Walid are the two guys. And, well, Yazid tried to gain the support of his brother, who was widely respected, but he was rebuffed out of fear that this would lead to a bloody civil war, as this would be the first time that an Umayyad caliph was removed by other Umayyads. But Yazid decided that he would continue with the plan anyway, because, a bit like the Kharijites, he believed that al-Walid's sins were so great that he was no longer fit to be caliph.
Yeah.
He actually states, in opposition to al-Walid's ideas, that the caliph is not infallible, and that following a caliph should not mean that you disobey God. And that if a caliph disobeys God, he should be killed.
He should not be caliph. Yep.
Yeah. And this all originates around different views on free will or predestination, because predestination favors the status quo because you were always meant to be caliph, while free will favors regime change because you are choosing to be a bad caliph. So the general idea is that it's connected to what does God know when God chooses the caliph, right?
Yeah.
Because al-Walid's side is saying, well, God chose me,
Yeah.
and God knows everything, so
Yeah.
God wouldn't make that mistake, so
God is
why
right.
are you whining? I'm meant to be in charge. While Yazid and the rebels are saying, well, yes, God knows everything, but God picked you because you had potential, but you've just gone and wasted it. So you're actually the one going against God's plan, which is why you need to be replaced. So there's this whole thing of like, how much does God really know and plan ahead? And with that, how much free will do you really have as a person? You know, is it something that you just have and you make your own choices, or have all your choices basically been pre-decided by God and God knows if you'll go to heaven or hell and all that? So there gathers opposition against Al-Walid II, and one day there came a coup attempt. When the coup came, Al-Walid was out of Damascus in his desert palace, so the capital was taken without opposition, and Yazid was declared Caliph Yazid III.
Good.
The conspirators then sent an army to Al-Walid's palace, where there was a battle that was ultimately lost when Al-Walid's followers were bribed to defect.
I mean, yeah.
He was then besieged, with his courtiers leaving one by one. And Al-Walid was then convinced that he would die like Uthman had died back about a century ago. And he said as much, so he tried to copy Uthman's death scene by sitting down, reading a copy of the Quran,
Dude,
waiting for the murderers to come get
that's
him.
very funny. That's such a hypocritical thing to do.
Yes, very much so.
It's so funny.
It's just like, oh no, my death is coming. I better make it a good scene.
Yep.
Okay, wait. Who did a good scene? Uthman did a good one. Okay, good. Let's try that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Then on the 15th of April, 744, the assassins entered the palace and stabbed Al-Walid to death.
Yeah.
His head and left hand were chopped off to bring to the new caliph, but the face had been hit with a sword, so it needed stitching up, and in this state, it was exposed publicly in Damascus.
With a post-mortem stitched up face.
Yep.
Oof. Yeah. Great.
And thus ends the life of Al-Walid II, the worst man alive.
I was expecting something else. I was expecting some, like, from the ashes sort of incredible, but like he was kind of, well, yeah, he's a very like Nero kind of character. Not as evil, I think, for the people at least.
I guess, yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, it's very much like Nero, but we have his poems and the anecdotes.
Yeah, and
Where
he
it's
is
just-
like bad towards, like mostly towards the people around him who are trying to run the empire. Not so much against like the people living in the empire. At least I don't get that vibe.
Yeah, he mostly didn't care enough to do anything. It was just
he
like,
he was bad in the sense that he was full and incompetent, but not
yeah, exactly.
purposefully bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, neglect and incompetence is pretty bad, but like,
Yeah, he's not actively like taking a hammer to things, but he's just saying, how hard can it be to be caliph? It'll be okay. I like that unlike Nero, we do have his poems, which is good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a nice touch. And yeah, Al-Walid was a guy where when I was looking at the Wikipedia page, just like get a vibe to start with, I was like, oh, there's this just like 3 paragraphs and it's fine. But then eventually I found a book like full of the poems and the anecdotes and everything. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Okay, I need to write all this down. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are, Serial. And after Al-Walid being incompetent and neglectful, we have a problematic succession with one faction in the court coalescing around Yazid III, and we'll see how stable he is if this explodes into another civil war, because this is the first irregular succession since the fitnas.
Yeah.
Previously, it was all just, some guy is chosen, there we carry on. This is the first time a caliph has been murdered so much in the open since the early days of the caliphate. So we'll see what the consequences are. We'll see what happens. But yes, in the meantime, Serial, would you like to rate this man?
Sure. Let's do it.
Fair enough. Our first category is final moments. How interesting was his death?
I mean, fairly interesting. Gotta say.
He was besieging his palace, his friends leaving one by one. As he's there, he's like, oh no, I need to make a good death scene. And he says, let's copy Uthman. He got a 10 out of 10 for final moments. Surely this will save me.
Let's copy Uthman, except this has nothing to do with my actual, like, beliefs and how I've lived my life. I'm just,
exactly.
like... this
is
is
a massive hypocrite, but still.
It's just such a good example of performative poetry. Yeah. He's not getting a 10 because he doesn't deserve it.
That's fair.
But he's getting a 9 because it's pretty good.
What are you starting with?
His imitating the scene is very cringe.
Yeah.
But it also makes it funny and shows off like what a hypocrite he was. And I do like the entire story we have about it of like his friends leaving, everyone getting like either bribed or convinced, to be out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he was assassinated. Like, of course.
Yeah, of course. How else was this going to end?
Yeah.
This was the only way. But yeah, I think I like your idea of a 9. I think it's good. It's an interesting time, let's say. All right, so with a 9 and a 9, he gets a 9 out of 10 for final moments, making him one of the highest scores, because we only ever had 3 9s and 2 10s. So, just doing quite well.
Mm.
Our next category is battle hardness. How good was he at war and fighting? Never really fought a day in his life.
No.
He has no military service. In politics, the empire carries on, but he doesn't launch any expeditions or anything. He's there, and that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even do like the traditional go fight the Romans thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just there. I don't know if you want to give like a token point because he's quite good at hunting and catching
That's
animals.
not battle. So no.
Fair enough. Fine, I'll take that.
That's athleticism, which great, but like, no.
Yeah, fair. So you're sticking with 0.
Yes.
Okay. So with a 0 and a 0, he gets a 0 of 20 for battle.
You get a 0.
Our next category is scheminess. How good was he at plots and manipulations? He doesn't strike me as much of a schemer. I think he's too entitled to be schemy. You know, like I think he's just like, well, of course things are going to go well for me. I'm going to be the caliph. God has chosen me. So I don't need to plot against Hisham. It'll be fine. The only mild points you could put here is that he had a bunch of Yamani supporters imprisoned and executed and tortured because they were friends with him, but because they were his enemies, I mean. But it's not exactly that he's plotting anything. He is just there, being a guy, doing things. I don't really see much for scheminess.
I was expecting so much more scheminess, and then truly it was just like, this guy is the worst, you're gonna hate him. And everyone's like, yeah, we all
the worst
hate him.
man, yes. Yeah, we all do. Please kill this man.
I guess
Very good.
I will see how long he made it as a caliph, but
yeah, we'll see how much you estimate that. But scheminess, the one thing for scheminess I can say is that when he was trying to court Salma,
I knew that you were going to bring this up.
Yes. He disguised himself as a merchant
and immediately
just
didn't
tried
work.
to sneak into her house,
like,
and was immediately caught. Yes.
That doesn't even deserve. I guess 1 point. It's not even like political intrigue. It's just loser behavior. I'm sorry.
Yes,
but
absolute loser behavior.
If Salma had been like super into it and they were like, oh, we need to be together. But like she was also like, oh, I guess. Like,
I think she was just like, why is this man? Like,
yeah.
He's married my sister. What are you doing?
Like maybe they did have a thing, you know, and then they were like, oh, you know, like this is not a good idea. And then his behavior henceforth just made her fall out of love with him because honestly, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, this man has no...
Like, I can see them having an affair or something and then him being like, actually, I want to marry you. But how everything went after that, yeah, I can tell that she was pretty
a bad
done.
time. Showing up drunk at your ex's place is never a good look. But yeah, so I think I'll go with the 1 for scheminess because he tried to disguise himself. Do you want to match as well, or are you just sticking with the 0?
If you give him a 1, I'll give him a 0. He does not deserve a full point.
There we go. So with a 1 and a 0, he gets a 1 out of 20 for scheminess. Our next category is shock factor. How shocking was this man? This is his round. Well, I mean, the words painted ebony flute were uttered.
Yeah.
He kept drinking so much. He tried to lead the pilgrimage and was so drunk he needed somebody to help him out to do things because he was just so out of it. He had a palace full of just wine baths where he could drink. He wrote a bunch of poetry.
He made a man chug so much
concubines.
wine that he died.
That's definitely a bad one.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of people tortured to death.
Yep.
He wanted to be caliph so badly that ultimately he just antagonized his uncle and didn't learn anything on how to be caliph. That's a whole thing.
He should just never have been caliph. I feel like it was too much of a reward that he did not deserve.
No, exactly. He should not
then again,
have been that.
Evil people live long, happy lives all the time. So, what do I know?
Yeah. We'll see how long his was. And also, shock factor, the whole Salma situation is just, come on, man. Just don't. This is a bad time for everyone.
There's the killing of Christians, even though, like, I guess that's not that shocking for, like, what we've been doing, but, you know.
Yeah, there's a whole that. He's deporting a bunch of people from Cyprus to Syria, moving them along. He is replacing competent governors with random other people and saying, this will be good, just because they're of the tribal group that he favors.
Yeah.
He is nominating his sons for the succession, even though they're underage, and they're the sons of concubines, so that's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's actually pretty shocking for what we've seen so far.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And just so much. This man has no chill. He has no standards. He doesn't know what anything is. So, yeah, it's a lot. I don't know what more you could do for shock factor.
I guess you could be Alexander the Great.
But still, I feel like he also does the Alexander thing of like, he gets drunk, orders some friends to be executed.
He's just
and
not
like,
so...
oh damn, that was me. Oh no.
He's not so like interesting, because at least Alexander was also talented and extremely lucky. And this man is just insufferable.
Yes, he is the worst man.
Yeah.
The worst man.
I love that this is the guy you were excited about.
I just like how much the worst man he is. Like, I've rarely seen worse men. And also, shock factor, the whole planning his death scene, that's also a whole thing. That's just like, no, this must be perfect. This will be great. So I feel like this is just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to go for a 10. I can't think of anything else.
I'll go with a 9.
More, like, you have the murdery bits, you have the just debauchery bits. It's a whole thing.
I'll go with a 9 out of spite.
You're not convinced?
No.
Out of spite.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Let me make my own decisions.
So he's not going to get top position for shock factor, just out of spite.
No.
Fair enough. All right, so with a 10 and a 9, he gets a 19 out of 20 for shock factor, which actually pushes Muawiyah out of the top 5 because he only had a 16. So there we are. Our next category is Aaron Shine. How good was he for the Empire in general and Iran in particular? Well, he does nothing to fix any of the serious problems we have to deal with. The caliphate carries on, but ultimately it's a mess. So he's messed up the succession. You remember how bad it was when the succession was unclear back at the start of the caliphate, when everybody was like, there was a civil war every 10 minutes.
We were like, what are we doing? Who is it? Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had a system for like the past 50 years and everything was fine. And now he's gone and said, oh no, actually someone else can be it. And he's gone and been overthrown. So now this is the first usurpation of this kind that we've seen in a while. And now the succession is messed up. What's going to happen? Who knows? Maybe Yazid can stabilize things, but maybe he can't. So what's going to happen? So that's a whole mess. The Empire's worse for that. Regarding Iran, he joins Khorasan back to the governorship of Iraq when it kind of needed the flexibility of being more independent. And I was just saying, this will be fine. It'll be all right. You know, we don't need the capable governor that was there before. You can just do whatever. So that's a mess. And then just in general, he is really damaging the image of the caliph as a figure because, well, look at how he's acting. He's acting in a way that's absolutely not appropriate for a caliph. It's so bad that people are coming up with theological arguments why you should oppose the caliph if they become this bad. So it's just a bad time overall. The only positives I can say are that the empire still exists. Mm-hmm. There are no foreign invasions. There are no big rebellions. But I wouldn't say that's his merit. I would say this is just the after effects of Hisham sort of holding things together. And now Al-Walid is benefiting from that. But he's not, he's not defending against enemies. He's just, there currently aren't people attacking us. So that's good enough, I guess. I don't know, Aaron Shine, what to do. I'm wondering how low to go.
I mean, the Empire is not on fire.
Does he deserve anything? Yes.
So let's look at
that's
the positives.
Why I'm flipping between like a 1 and a 2, where it's just like the Empire is still around.
Where were we before? What did we give his predecessor?
Hisham got 3.
Okay.
For the whole everything is on fire, but he managed to hold it together.
Okay, so then it has to be much
are worse, but he tried.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But
to be fair, Al-Walid's dad, Yazid II, also got a 3.
Yeah.
For basically doing nothing and just
but nothing
partying and
went worse. So, okay. So,
yeah,
what got better, what got worse? Did anything get better?
I'd say compared to his father, Yazid II, he is worse because he messed up the succession.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to have ramifications now, which,
I feel like it's a combination of It's worse. He's messed up the succession. He's caused this tribal rivalry between Kaisia and Yamani to become an actually violent thing.
Mm.
So I think I'm going to give him a 1 because the Empire's still there, but only because somebody had the idea that you should be killed before you could do any more damage. So I feel like that's as much as it goes, because any more is just, he's not doing anything useful. Again, this is a Nero, a Commodus, a Caligula, where it's just the Empire's holding together because your predecessors did a good job, but you're actually the cause, or maybe a symptom of its decline.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to stick with a 1. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Is it worth 2 points less? Because I feel like not that much changed.
I think it's the thing that he's messed up the succession, and now this tribal war.
Yeah, true.
There's this tribal conflict that is now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree. I will give him a 1 as well.
So with a 1 and a 1, he gets a 2 out of 20 for Aaron Shine, making him the worst of this season.
To surprise of nobody.
The worst since Shapur V. Yes, the worst since Shapur V, who got a full 0 because the Empire was on fire and broken into 17 different pieces and everything was gone. So, fair enough. Our next category is Face of Faces. What do you think this man looked like? And, I mean, the description we had was not of his face.
Yep. I'm not
I
gonna...
don't know how much you can do of that.
Not that... We're keeping the drawings acceptable.
Fair enough. It's a PG podcast, yes.
Not that I have anything against drawing other stuff, but for the podcast, I feel like we have a vibe sort of going on, and
Yeah, that's fair. We're trying to be educational. Okay, so Sarah has finished their drawing. Let me pick it up and I'll describe it to you all.
Let it be known that I really enjoyed working on this drawing. That does not mean that I like the guy. He does not deserve this good of a drawing. But I guess.
He's the worst man.
I guess.
Oh, damn. Wow.
I told you!
That's really good. Damn. I love it. That's brilliant. I love it. So, what we have here is, well, in full gorgeous Technicolor.
Mm-hmm.
We have Al-Walid there. He has a nice big white turban on. He has a nice medium-length beard, let's call it, and a little earring dangling from his ear. I assume that's a eyeshadow of some sort.
For a bit of...
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Good vibes, yeah. And he just seems to be happily laughing away, enjoying the fact that he's the caliph now. What are you going to do? Tell him no. He can do whatever. He is free at last. And he's just having a lovely time, and I love it. It's such a good drawing. It's very good. Extremely intense. Very good. Thank you, Sariel, for the lovely drawing.
You're welcome.
And yeah, if any of you would like to see this gorgeous drawing, you can go to our Discord if you're patrons, on the episode notes in the description, or on our website in Sariel's portrait gallery.
I also gave him an earring, despite you not being supposedly not, you shouldn't as a Muslim, but we all know that he didn't care. So
he did a lot of things you shouldn't do. So
I was
honestly,
like, an earring is not gonna be, the worst one.
Yeah,
so
no, exactly. And Sarah, are you ready to see what this man looked like?
Yes.
Very well.
You said we have no descriptions, so...
No, we have no description, but we do have an image, Sarah, from one of his palaces where he had a fresco that he had commissioned as a prince.
I mean, of course he did.
And so this is him.
Oh, so he did actually have his face portrayed. Despite usually you being like, you shouldn't, because...
Yeah, that specific clip.
Sure looks like a
this is
guy.
my palace, I'm having a portrait of me, yes.
Yeah, it's very, I guess, of the time. I like this stylization.
Yeah.
We can only see... Okay, so part of it is eroded away, so we can only see, or like chipped, like a third of the face, or down the middle of the nose and to the mouth, and then like we're missing part of the chin. So we see the like left eye and the half the nose, half the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of those Byzantine portraits of Justinian.
You could see, I was thinking it reminds me a bit of the Fayum mummies. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I don't think
all those
I am.
Roman era mummies with like paint.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, it is this very like static pose, right? Of like him looking to the front and then shoulders to the front and just a hand raised. It's very much, it is fairly stylized. It's cool. I'm glad we have a portrait. The colors
I like
are,
all the blues.
the
The
colors
blues
are
are quite
beautiful.
good,
I guess because
yeah.
blue
It
withstands.
must have been expensive, I imagine.
Yeah, the blue withstands the test of time a bit better than other pigments, and I guess, the rest has faded away a little. I'm sure it was beautiful when it was like...
Yeah, I mean, this was the whole palace he designed and
Yeah.
commissioned, so it's just like, pretty good
The
times.
thing on the left of the portrait looks like a eldritch abomination right now.
I can't tell
But
what it is meant to be. I don't
it's the
really
remnants
know.
of an angel just about to smite him.
Basically,
No, it's just like it looks like a blotch of dark red. That's why, I'm not sure what it was
it looks like
to
he
be.
has jewels hanging
Yeah.
around. I don't know. It's a bit difficult to tell from here.
Cool.
But how would you rate this
I
portrait,
like
Sarah,
it.
now that we've got one?
I like
after
that
a
you can
while?
see the pattern on the fabric of the clothes and things like that. I like the blue tones.
Yeah, it is
It's
very
also
nice.
contemporary, which is crazy.
Yep.
Like, that's so cool.
Which we haven't had in
That's
a long
so cool
while.
that we actually have like an idea of what this guy might have looked like. I mean, a very stylized version of him, but I'm sure it was based on what he actually looked like.
Yeah, if he was there, if he commissioned it, surely. So how much would you give it? What rating would you give it out of 10?
I'm trying to think, why not a 10?
I wouldn't go as high as a 10 because I think I would go with like from a 10 down to a 9 because, well, it's not perfectly preserved.
I guess if we had a
there are
statue, it
issues.
would be...
Yeah, then I'd go one below because, well, it's not really representing a particular moment of his life. It's just him. Like, it's not, Shapur standing over the bodies of his enemies.
Yeah.
It's just, he's there. He's just looking into the camera.
Staring
And-
to my soul.
Yeah, so I think an 8, I think it's quite good. I'm not blown away by it, but I think I'm going to go for a 7 because I think it's good, but it's nothing.
I do like it.
I wouldn't say, oh, you need to look at
I
this
like
one.
the style, I like the colors, and I like that it's contemporary. I think I will go for at least an 8. Although I do agree that it doesn't represent an interesting moment. Like, it's not a storytelling portrait, it's just a portrait.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're happy with an 8, then we can do that. So with a 7 and an 8, he gets a 3.8 out of 5 for Face of Faces. Our next category is lengthiness. For how long do you think this disaster man reigned?
I want to say very short. Because I want to say, like, he got to the throne despite everyone being like, you should not be caliph, and then he finally did, and then people were immediately like, nope. So I'm going to say 2 years.
2 years, not even that.
Okay,
So
great.
Sarah, he reigned for a grand total of 10 months before
Wonderful.
people
That's
decided
what I
he
was
needed to be
hoping for,
stabbed.
That is great.
Yeah, very good. So take 10 months divided by 10 years, and you get 0.083 recurring out of 5 for lengthiness. Which brings us to the final score, which is a grand total of 34.8 out of 100, placing him fairly middle lower of the pack of the new season. He is just below Yazid I, who messed everything up for everyone and started the second fitna, and just above Abdullah ibn al-Zubair, who tried to bring things back to the older Rashidun Caliphate style. So, yeah, he's not too impressive, but he definitely beat his father by almost twice as much. So he's doing well. And he beat Hisham, which he would be happy about.
Yes. So, how much of his story is like propaganda? Because I forgot to ask, but like, obviously people didn't like him. But it feels like it's pretty genuine, whatever we're hearing about him. So,
it feels like, again, as with most things, we can't know for sure, but the fact is that ultimately, as a mild spoiler, people in the future will consider the fact that you can't just kill a caliph because you don't like what he's doing, because he's too important as a figure.
oh no.
So he is sort of an example of, yes, he may be horrible, but he's the horrible guy God chose.
Oh
So
no.
it's probably
I hate
best.
that. Ugh.
But also, as we've seen before, sources hate the Umayyads. So,
I was wondering more about, like,
who
okay, are
knows?
all of these stories true? And, like, was he actually, like, not doing anything? And
I mean, again, maybe the details aren't all true, but the thing is that he is. I mean, we have his own poetry. Which
Yeah.
would be
We
weird
get
thing
a
to
sense
forge,
of the
so that's
guy.
part of
Yeah.
it.
True.
And also, it's generally like a kernel of truth. So, maybe again, Nero wasn't everything everybody said, but
Still pretty bad.
he must have been a bit. Somebody did decide to kill him.
Yes.
Somebody decided this guy has to die
Yeah.
for what he does. So,
And Al-Walid lasted 10 months, so
yeah, exactly. So
Yep,
it's like,
yep.
if you last 10 months because somebody stabs you, you're not doing great.
I guess, yeah.
But this brings us to the final decision, which is to say, is he chaotic enough? Is he a gremlin enough? Is he the worst man alive enough to be a Shahanshah? Or is he just a Shahanah? Will you remember Al-Walid II?
I will probably remember him. I don't know if I want to put him up there. But I guess.
I feel like just for the... I mean, for
For
me,
the
I would
story,
say yes.
yeah.
Like,
I think we have
he
to
is
have
the
him up
worst
there.
man.
I don't think he's going to get very far. But I think
Exactly.
his story is good.
No, exactly. He's not going to go far, but he is the one that I've been, telling people,
Yep.
this guy's going to be a fun one.
This guy's the worst.
So he's the worst man, but you know what? There we are. Okay, so congratulations, Al-Walid II. You are a Shahanshah. You can go off into the Paradise Gardens, meet your namesake Al-Walid I, who had a very different reign to you, but hey, you can sort of explain how you got stabbed, and hey, you can meet Uthman in the Paradise Gardens. You can say that you did the same thing, so you're basically the same guy. So it's great.
Yeah, you're basically
no need to
the
look into
same.
anything.
Yep.
And you can also gloat at Hisham, your uncle, being in the desert because, well, haha, he was not as chaotic as you. So there we go. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode on Al-Walid II, and we hope you'll join us next time for Yazid III. Will the empire collapse now that it's unstable, or will Yazid bring it into a new golden age because, well, he finally knows what needs to be done. He knows what the problems are. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, if you'd like to support us, there are many ways to do that. You can join us on our Patreon, where we've just finished voting for our newest miniseries, which is going to be Khosrow's Scholars, where it's a bunch of scholars of the reign of Khosrow I, where essentially we're going to be covering the Dr. Borzuya, Aryabhata, the Indian mathematician, and Simplicius, the Western philosopher, who all somehow mixed at the court of the Sassanids towards the end of their reign back in the old season. So it's a bit of a throwback. If you support us, you also get access to a bunch of episodes that we have. We have up 27 episodes backlog, so if you can't bear being without us for a while, this is a great chance to get back into it. If instead you'd rather not support us monetarily, that's fine, but we'd appreciate if you could give us a review on your podcast app of choice. Tell people that we exist, that you enjoy us, and that, hey, they should come along for the ride, because who knows what's going to happen now. Chaos definitely will reign for a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, then in that case, without any further ado, we hope you have a lovely week, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.